Hello everybody, this is Crazy Ryno here of the Bagel Club, bringing you a little experiment here. This is the, I guess, after show podcast. I don't know what you want to call this. I don't even have a name for it, to be honest. So, if you have a good name for this, leave a comment below. Maybe we'll use it. I don't know. But I just want to take a little extra time here and talk about some other wrestling that's been happening that everyone else in the Bagel Club hasn't exactly had the time to watch, but I have because I like wrestling and I watch a lot of it. So I'm gonna take a little bit and talk about just a couple shows here, starting with one that I actually saw in person because, well, it's a local promotion to me and I recently discovered it and I've decided to check it out, and boy, they're great. So, our first topic today is going to be of Emerge Wrestling, based in Columbus, Indiana, and they had recently had a free admission show outside called Emerge 17 Downtown Throwdown. I decided to attend, and I decided to show up quite early for the show as well to get front row seats, because why not? So, unfortunately, my memory of this event isn't that great because my memory sucks ass, but I'll at least go down the card and give maybe vague thoughts, but at least my thoughts on the matches. So, we started off the show with Have Mercy, Percy Davis, going against the baddest man alive, Aaron Williams. This was a good opening match. It was mostly dominated by Aaron Williams. He worked the left leg really hard of Percy Davis, who sold it pretty well, screaming in pain. But Aaron Williams had the win in hand. He was about to get the 3 count, but he decided to have a little fun. So right before the ref counted 3, he lifted Percy's head up to inflict more punishment. But that would spell his demise, if you will, for this gave Percy the opportunity to roll up Aaron Williams and get the 1-2-3 for the win. So again, good opening match. Good working of the leg by Aaron Williams. And as a side note, I actually got to speak a little bit to Aaron Williams during one of the intermissions. Cool dude. He recognized my Rosemary shirt because... which is a little surprising because I know TNA is the whole... but yeah. It was a good opening match. Next up we had the Man Without Fear, Kyle Maverick, excuse me, I can't speak, going against the high-flying Italian Vinny Balzano, who apparently had family support sitting right next to me, which was pretty cool. Don't really have much to say about this match. It was good. Heels did heel things. Vinny did his face thing. It was a good match. Maverick ended up getting the win. I forget how, but once again, I was impressed. Maybe this is better just because I was, in person and on the front row, but I think Emerge is a pretty damn good promotion, and they put on some good work. So, after the Maverick-Balzano match, we had a tag match between a team called the Beauty and the Beasts with their manager, Nikki, by their side. These are just a couple of really big fucking men. They are billed at a combined weight of over 700 pounds, so yeah, a couple big guys. Going against the team of the 8-Bit Punks, which were pretty much an NES-themed team. One of the partners actually enters wearing a power glove, which I got a high five with the power gloved hand, which was pretty cool. And it was basically big guys versus little guys match, and match started with 8-Bit Punks getting the upper hand with their, smaller size and speed. But soon after, the Beasts kind of dominated and ended up scoring the win and stuff, and I believe they decide afterwards to beat down the Punks a little more. I can't remember, to be honest, but to stop that from happening, we had the apparent return. I'm a little new to Emerge, so I don't know anything about these guys, to be honest, and I'm having a hard enough time remembering who they are at all. But the team of the big-ass dudes ran in to save the punks, and that's and also stare down the beasts. It's pretty intense moment. I liked it. Overall, good match. It wasn't exactly a squash match, but from what I remember, the punks got thrown around a little bit, but they did get their offense in, so it was good. And it's probably going to lead, I think it's going to lead into a match at the next Emerge show between the big-ass dudes and Beauty and the Beasts, I think. We'll see. Good tag match. After that, we had Anthony Lee going up against Mr. Paul Milton, who was constantly heckled by the crowd, being called Mrs. Paul. Because he's the bad guy, yeah. Once again, a match I don't really remember that fondly. I think this is the guy I had slight interaction with, because, he was doing heel tactics with the crowd. He glances over to me, he's like, "Hey, punk, what city are we in?" Because, couldn't remember which... No, actually, I don't think this was him. I think this is a different person. Somebody did that. I forget who it was, but whoever you are, yeah. Point is, I don't know. It was another enjoyable match. Anthony Lee got the win. I forget how. Mostly, I'm sorry about the vagueness of this, but I at least want to. The main point of me talking about this is to bring exposure to Emerge Wrestling, because I think they're a pretty fantastic promotion, and I'm not just saying that because they're local. And the only promotion that, I can see in person. But hey, it was good. Next up, we had some tag team action again. It was team of Guns and Aggression. I forget, the individual names, I'm sorry. Versus the team of Chris Caliber, who was flanked by Karma. Not that Karma. Not the awesome Kong Karma. A different Karma. Her name doesn't have an H. She also has pretty cool purple hair. Anyways, his tag team partner was the handicapped hero, Gregory Iron, which I have respect for, because I don't know what condition he has. I know his right hand is a little bit, he's kind of limited in the way he can use his right hand, which why he's the handicapped hero. That was a really good match. Iron got a lot of offense in. The crowd was firmly behind him, as faces do. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. Don't mind me. Iron eventually got beat down quite a bit by Guns and Aggression until he finally got the hot tag on Caliber, and just all hell broke loose from there. And the team of Caliber and Iron ended up picking up the win. It was some fantastic stuff. It's a really good match. After that, we had the only title match of the card, which was the conniving Kenneth James defending his Outbreak title, which is their kind of mid-card title, against beautiful Brett Havoc. Don't really know a whole lot to say about this match, because I don't remember it too much, sorry. But from what I remember, it was another good match. No, there wasn't a bad match on this card. It was some good stuff. But the match eventually ended with Kenneth James getting the pin and defending his Outbreak title. I believe with I remember now. With the spear. He won with the spear, and then after the match, he decided to inflict more punishment and speared Havoc so hard that he did a flip. It was a really just looking spear. Like not only did he get cut in half, he also got rolled over. It was ridiculous. It was good. Then we went to the main event of the event, which was the team of Donnie Idol and Ricky Ruckus, the East Side Elite, going against the team of Hysteria with their manager Christopher Icon flanking them. Before I get into this, one thing I've actually saw a similarity to was Christopher Icon looks a lot like James R. Kennedy, the manager of Prospect in WCPW. They don't look exactly the same, but they look very similar. It's pretty interesting to me. I don't know. But this match was pretty crazy. Started off with a outside the ring brawl. Some of it happened in front of me. Eventually, the match got started properly. Had a bunch of back and forth stuff. Eventually, Ricky Ruckus got the hot tag. Clean house. They ended up picking up the win. And all was cool. And then after the match, we had some shenanigans with Christopher Icon getting stunnered by Ricky Ruckus. And Donnie Isle just went full stone cold mode. Excuse me. Called up one of the I believe it's the heel commentator to the ring. Exchanged some words, ended up giving him a stunner, and basically had instead of a beer bath, they had a Mountain Dew bath. Him and Ruckus to celebrate the end, and that's basically where the show ended. It was a really good show. I enjoyed it a lot. Got a slight sunburn on me, but it was worth it. And if you happen to live in the Columbus, Indiana area, you should definitely check out Emerge Wrestling. It's some good stuff. I'm going to their next event, which is on the 10th of September. And, if you happen to see a dumb-looking bearded guy with a probably Rosemary shirt on in the front row, come say hi, because that's me. I don't know. Maybe I'll put you in the vlog that goes on my my personal channel. Who knows? But that was Emerge 17 Downtown Throwdown. Very vague review, yes, but overall it was a really good and exciting show. I enjoyed it. And what more can you ask for a free show? It was good. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about in this little inaugural bonus thing. I still don't know what to call this. But remember at the end of episode 2 of the Bagel Club, I said I was going to do a review of this. Well, that just kind of never happened because of laziness, and I had trouble trying to write a script since I've never done that before. But I'm going to talk about it now. This was released on their on-demand service on the 24th of July. But I've watched it a couple times, so I want to talk about Chikara vs. Smash Wrestling. I've recently got into Smash Wrestling because of Rosemary, who I don't shut up about. Found Rosemary, found Decay, and I discovered her indie work as Courtney Rush, and it led me to Smash Wrestling, which I believe is based in Ontario, Canada, and her feud within there between one Miss Cherry Bomb, who you might know in TNA as Allie. And that's basically the origins of what has become the focal point of Courtney Rush's characters, both in TNA and in the Indies, the Demon Assassin. Now, of course, her in TNA, she's more in touch with what's happening. She's more of a loose cannon as the Demon Assassin, but it's basically where things really took off for her. But enough about that. I could go on forever talking about Rosemary. I might do that if you guys want to. Kind of like an explanation why I have this weird opinion. But onwards to talking about Chikara versus Smash. So yeah, as you might tell from the title, this is a cross-promotion event hosted by Smash Wrestling, starring wrestlers from Smash and Chikara Wrestling as well, which I haven't seen a lot of. I've mostly seen clips from the more comedic moments of their matches. But it was some good stuff. So let's get right into Chikara vs. Smash. So the opening match of Chikara vs. Smash was a tag team match. It was the Super Smash Bros. Evil Uno and, oh man, I forget the name of his partner, I'm sorry, representing Smash, versus the team of Dasher Hatfield and Oleg the Usurper from Chikara. Match started off with a little brawl. Oleg and Dasher got the early advantage with a nice little double team splash and cannonball from Oleg onto the second Smash Bro. I'm sorry, I forget your name. Stu Grayson, that's his name. Anyways, some more shenanigans. At one point, the Smash Bros. Were beating down Oleg, which was interesting because he was the big guy, but they were dominating him a bit until he kind of got an adrenaline rush, started no-selling stuff, and hit a pretty good double choke slam on both of the Smash Bros. Got the hot tag to Dasher Hatfield, who's a very baseball-themed guy. He wears a baseball mask, which is hilarious to me, but he started cleaning house, hitting a bunch of offense, got some double teams from Hatfield and Oleg, but eventually things would break down, and the Smash Brothers would put Oleg out of the picture with a huge over-the-rope dive from, I forgot his name again, and that which lead to a double team combo, just face kick pile driver from the Smash Bros onto Dasher for the 1-2-3. Smash Bros won. Holy crap, that was a good opening match. It's very exciting to watch, and yeah, Smash 1, Chikara 0. So the next matchup on this card was another tag match. This was the team of the Well-Oiled Machines, which was Mike the Machine Rollins and Braxton Sutter with Ali at their flank. I'll get into that in a minute. Their team, their opponents were the team of Hacker, Scotty O'Shea, and Brent Banks. Now this one is interesting because, once again, I'm relatively new to Smash Wrestling, but apparently these two have pretty much had a long-time feud since the origins of Smash Wrestling. But in this situation, they're part of a tag team that Scotty O'Shea actually requested a long time ago, although he's now wanting it to not happen anymore. He requested this tag team to be made, so basically they wouldn't kill each other. And it shows in this match as it started off with Banks and O'Shea trying to kind of one-up each other against the Well-Oiled Machines. And yeah, eventually they would start working together, but before that, the Machines pretty much dominated O'Shea, working hard on his leg for a good long time. But eventually, O'Shea got the tag, Brent Banks went on a flurry. There was even a little bit of a double teaming from O'Shea and Banks at one point towards the end. But at the end, Brent Banks goes to finish off Mike Rollins for the win. O'Shea hits a blind tag. Banks hits move. O'Shea throws Brent Banks out of the ring to pick up the win, but ends up getting rolled up by Mike Rollins for the 1-2-3. Well-Oiled Machines win. This was a pretty good match and pretty good storytelling. Or, I don't know storytelling, but it was interesting to see the lack of teamwork and communication between Scotty O'Shea and Brent Banks, since they are longtime rivals, and it's basically the face O'Shea versus and the heel Banks teaming up. It was a pretty interesting match, and yeah, it was pretty good. But now we move on to the most interesting part of the show, at least to me. So, on the events leading up to Chikara vs. Smash, there was a video released to Smash's YouTube with Courtney Rush, better known as Rosemary, basically saying she's going to be there at Chikara vs. Smash, and she wants to fight Ali. So, after the Well-Oiled Machine match, after Sutter and O'Shea leave, Ali takes to the ring, demands a microphone. She actually orders Sutter and Rollins outside to leave, and she cuts a promo asking Rosemary to come out, to which she happily obliges, and basically sets up a match for them, but not at this show, but for a later date for Smash's Super Showdown 4, which is basically, I guess, their WrestleMania. I don't know. So, because she wants to slay the demon on the biggest stage of them all, as she says, well, Rosemary decided to up the ante and propose a no disqualification stipulation, which Allie accepted, which led to a brawl, which led to Sutter and Rollins coming back to the ring, and ended up holding up Rosemary so Allie could not deliver not one, not two, but 3 super kicks right to her face. This was a fun segment to watch just because I love Rosemary, and it's interesting because they've actually went through a name change at Smash Wrestling. Because up to this point, Braxton Sutter was known as Pepper the Body in Smash, Allie was known as Cherry Bomb, and Rosemary, like I said, was Courtney Rush. They decided to go with their TNA names, which was interesting change. I'm not against it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, they're now known as Braxton Sutter, Allie, and Rosemary, respectively. I'm really looking forward to this match. I can't wait to see it, just because Rosemary is my current favorite wrestler, and this is honestly my favorite feud in wrestling right now, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, that was quite the segment, and that was really enjoyable. Moving on. So the next match on the card was a women's match. This was between Candice LeRae, representing Smash, and Princess Kimberly, representing Chikara, who actually was formerly with Smash, but she's recently moved to Chikara. And boy, was this match was furious from the get-go. This was an extremely offensive match, and both women just threw everything at each other. Candice got the early advantage in the match over Kimberly. Ended up going outside the ring and literally kicking Kimber out of a chair. It's impressive, but Kimberly had her own very impressive offense with a very nice looking 10-second delayed vertical suplex. This was just a fantastic match, and it ended with Candice LeRae hitting a swanton, getting a near fall, or not Candice LeRae, Kimberly, excuse me. Kimberly hit the swanton, got the near fall. Candice tried to roll her up, failed. So Kimber tried to roll her up, no. Candice tried to roll up again, no. And Kimberly finally just rolled up Candice and put all of her body weight on her shoulders for the 1-2-3. Princess Kimberly wins, and in a just great match. It was fantastic from both women. Yeah. Women's indie wrestling is fucking awesome, and that was one of the really good examples of it. So the next match in Smash vs. Chikara was a fatal 4-way match between Smash representatives Tyson Dukes, might know him from Cruiserweight Classic first round, Space Monkey. He's an interesting one, let me tell you. It's a freaking monkey from space. Kevin Bennett, along with the Kevin Bennett Experience, aka Big Tank and the Muscle. So basically, his crew. And finally, representing Chikara is Juan Francisco de Coronado, whose entrance rivals The Undertaker's in length, let me tell you. So before we get to the actual, I mentioned something, highlights about the match itself. During the entrances was interesting. As Space Monkey came out, fans were throwing bananas in the ring for Space Monkey, and he started collecting them in his space helmet. That was pretty funny. And since Juan Francisco de Coronado was taking so long with this entrance, Space Monkey decided to have a little banana snack while waiting. It was pretty hilarious, in my opinion. As far as the actual match, it was a good 4-way. Some highlights being Space Monkey climbed to the top rope and doing a corkscrew dive on everybody except Tyson Dukes. That includes the Kevin Bennett Experience. So he took out 4 men with one dive. It was a fantastic dive. There was one confused fan, I will say, who at 2 points tried to chant USA at Juan Francisco de Coronado, despite them being in Canada. That didn't go over too well. That one's a head scratcher. I don't know. There was a bunch of attempted pins that got broke up. One most notably by Space Monkey. He used his tail. He has a tail. He broke the pin with his tail, and then did a tail whip on Juan Francisco de Coronado immediately after. By God, he used his tail as a weapon. A couple more highlights. Tyson Dukes, who is actually having a ongoing feud with Kevin Bennett. He went a little crazy, hitting Bennett with a very vicious powerbomb, rolling him over, and doing another equally as vicious, even more vicious maybe, powerbomb to Bennett, just in 2 big powerbombs in succession, but only got a 2 count out of it, but damn, it looked brutal. But in the end, through a whole bunch of shenanigans, Kevin Bennett hits his finisher on Tyson Dukes, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3, Kevin Bennett wins the 4-way. Now after the match, Bennett decided to have the Kevin Bennett experience leave the ring as he cut a promo on Tyson Dukes, basically telling him that he's let down his entire family and everybody, and that he's all washed up, which is probably going to lead to a match at a later point, because of course it will. Surprisingly, Dukes didn't do anything about it. He just kind of stood there and took it, and then left the ring once Bennett was done. It was a very interesting little thing there. But yeah, it was a good Fatal 4-Way. I like it. Moving on. So after that Fatal 4-Way, we had another singles match between the returning Matt Cross, who the commentators coined as the Canadian Goldberg. Sure, works. Apparently he started his career in Smash Wrestling with a 25 win streak, so I guess it works. I don't know. But yes, Matt Cross, one of the I think the first ever Smash champion, against the current Chikara Grand Champion, Hallow Wicked. This guy is a specimen. He had quite a cool entrance, I'm not gonna lie. And apparently he worships a demon, to which I make the obvious joke of, he may worship a demon, but does he worship the demon assassin? I can't stop. Anyways, this was a pretty good back and forth match. Hallow Wicked kind of had more dominance over Matt Cross, but it was a good back and forth match. Matt Cross is doing a lot of high flying stuff, including a nice bounce off the ropes into a cutter, and the final sequence where he hit a bicycle kick on Hallow Wicked, and a absolutely beautiful shooting star press to pick up the win. It was a beautiful shooting star press, but it was a solid match. Not a whole lot of highlights, but it was a good match with Matt Cross picking up the win. Welcome back, Matt Cross. So the match after that was, oh boy, this one was entertaining. This was a trios match between the team of the Colony, representing Chikara, comprised of the Fire Ant, Soldier Ant, and Worker Ant. If you haven't seen these guys, Colony is really freaking entertaining. Their opponents representing Smash were the Pineapple Soda Club, made up of John Greed, the Drunk Tank, the #1 contender for the Smash Wrestling Championship, Tarek, and Sebastian Suave, the Stud Muffin. No. This was, like I said, this was pretty entertaining. Anytime the Colony is involved in the match, it's going to get weird and it's going to get funny. Before the match even starts, while the Colony makes their entrance, Soldier Ant finds somebody sitting in the front row that looks like Santa Claus, decides to sit down on his lap. Yeah, that happened. Apparently, John Greed has this weird little pre-match ritual where he says a thing, takes off his shirt, I don't know. But he gets interrupted by Sebastian Suave, who wants to do it this time. So he does the ritual, takes off the shirt, reveals his little Stud Muffin shirt. just it's silly. Then the actual match starts. Well, actually, before that, Soldier Ant was so impressed by the ritual, he tried to take Suave to his corner and draft him into the colony. Yeah, things get silly with these guys. Anyways, the actual match starts here with Soldier Ant and Sebastian Suave. Soldier Ant likes to do a lot of shenanigans involving salutes, so he puts Suave in a submission hold and moves his arm and forces him to salute, which prompted a "Sir, yes, sir" chant from the crowd, which was great. Had some shenanigans, and eventually tagged in Fire Ant, got a little double team on them, but Sebastian Suave eventually got to his corner and tagged in Tarek, which pretty much created the first kind of reset of the match, as things just kind of restarted with two freshmen in. Fire Ant and Tarek did some stuff together. I forget who got the upper hand, but Fire Ant was moving all over the place because he's the fast ant. It was great. But Tarek would get the advantage, tag in John Greed, and instead of attacking Fire Ant, he allowed him basically to tag in Worker Ant, which is the big bruiser of the colony, which prompted another match restart. So Worker Ant and Greed had a little test of strength together, which were pretty evenly matched. Went back and forth, and then things got weird. As Greed gets the upper hand, he decides to tag in both of his teammates, Suave and Tarek, which Jimmy Corderas was a little confused and didn't know how to react, so he just kind of allowed both of them to be in the ring together. But it didn't matter because Worker Ant was kind of getting the advantage on both of them. When suddenly, oh boy, we got a little submission train. One guy put an ant in a submission, then one of the ants showed up, put that guy in the submission, and then one of the PSC guys showed up, put that ant in submission, and it kept going up until Soldier Ant was one left remaining, not being put in a submission hold or anything. So he tries to figure out where to go and what to do. He goes to put some kind of hold on John Greed, but instead he just kind of climbs over on his shoulders and stands and salutes and poses, which breaks up the holds. It was pretty interesting and hilarious, just a humid centipede of submissions, as one of the commentators said. And then we actually had some normal wrestling stuff with the colony dominating Tarek for a while and stuff, and then the Pineapple Soda Club got their offense in, and then we had another submission chain. This time it was exclusively head scissors, as I believe Tarek put a head scissors on Fire Ant, who then got a head scissors put on him by Worker Ant, who then got a head scissors put on him by Sebastian Suave, who then got a head scissors put on him by Soldier Ant. So John Greed shows up, and he doesn't exactly know how to do a head scissors, so he goes to Fire Ant. First he goes for a swing, trying to swing all 5 men. That doesn't work, so he rolls all 5 of them, just this chain of head scissors and stuff, into a Boston Crab on Fire Ant. So yeah, you had just another submission chain, and it was even more hilarious with Fire Ant getting the most abuse, because not only was he in a head scissors, he was also in a Boston Crab. But eventually Soldier Ant decided to break this all up by grabbing the bottom rope, which I guess broke the entire chain because Jimmy Corderas is having enough of their shit, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, things broke down. Then things kind of went back to just normal shenanigans, normal match stuff. A couple more highlights. Worker Ant, Sebastian Suave and Tarek tried to suplex Worker Ant, But Worker Ant turned that around and was able to suplex both Sebastian Suave and Tarek at the same time, which was pretty impressive. And then Jonathan Greed comes in, and Soldier Ant and Fire Ant try to suplex Greed, but they can't. So Worker Ant comes in, grabs Greed's legs, and assists Soldier and Fire Ant, into suplexing Greed, which was pretty entertaining. More shenanigans. PSC gets the upper hand after things break down. They decide to do a chain of elbow drops, with Greed doing a standing elbow drop, Tarek doing a middle rope elbow drop, and then Suave doing a top rope elbow drop. I think it switched Tarek and Suave around. I don't remember who did what where. I just know Greed did the standing one because he was the big guy. But eventually, the Colony got back under control of the match. Fire Ant climbed up on the shoulders of Soldier and Worker Ant, hit a big splash on Sebastian Suave, got the 1-2-3. The Colony wins in a very entertaining match. Like, seriously, it was great. It was funny, and like I said, if you haven't seen the Colony in action, you should, because they're very entertaining to watch and will give you some great laughs. So, that fun-ass trios match out of the way, it was time for the main event and for the feels. Because the main event was the final Smash Wrestling appearance for one Mr. Johnny Gargano. Might have heard of him in the past couple of weeks, you know. He was going up against Chikara's Icarus, who they've had a past with, tag teaming together. And this was pretty interesting. During Gargano's entrance, he got completely covered with streamers and showered, and he proudly wore them on him. He was, in Smash Wrestling, Johnny Gargano for the past, over a year, was the big heel champion of Smash, but he recently lost the championship on a Progress wrestling show in the UK, which is interesting. And he decided to, since this was his last match, at Smash Wrestling, he would be the Johnny Gargano of old. He would be the face Gargano. Instead of wanting to ruin Smash Wrestling, he wanted to thank everyone and basically not use heel tactics, with cheating and bending the rules and stuff. And the crowd throughout the entire match were very loud with Johnny Wrestling chants. It was quite an experience. I'm not even like that. I haven't even been a fan of Smash Wrestling for that long, and I was getting a little emotional watching this, to be honest. The overall match, it was a great match. It was a great main event. It started with Gargano getting the early advantage over Icarus. At one point, he actually decided to go do a victory lap while doing a yes chant, a la Daniel Bryan, which was pretty neat. Ended up chopping Icarus right out of a chair immediately afterwards, and then a little fan participation. One of the fans put his foot up in the air, and Gargano whipped Icarus right into his shoe, which was pretty neat. Eventually, Icarus would finally get the advantage in the match with a very, very vicious spear. It was a good spear. He would dominate for a while. They would go back and forth with some good moves, great wrestling. Then things started to break down towards the end, as they usually do. Icarus, the ref Johnny was going to splash Icarus in the corner. Icarus pulled the ref in front of him. Johnny kind of shoved the ref away. During this, Icarus tried to take the advantage with a low blow. Johnny blocked it. He went for a low blow himself, but he remembered what he said before the match and stopped himself from doing the low blow, since he's not heel Johnny Wrestling. Therefore, he doesn't want to do that, which gave Icarus a little advantage. There was a little struggle. Icarus grabbed onto the ref so he couldn't see and hit Johnny with a low blow, almost winning the match. Almost. Very close 2 count. More shenanigans happened, and the ref ended up getting absolutely freaking destroyed by Icarus accidentally with a vicious clothesline, which led to Icarus grabbing some powder, throwing it in Johnny's eyes, almost getting the win. Johnny, actually before that, Johnny put Icarus in a submission. Icarus started tapping, but the ref was dead, so yeah, about that. Couldn't really end the match there. And then Icarus grabbed the powder and hit Johnny's eyes. The ref had a very slow 2 count since, he was still recovering from the clothesline. Johnny kicked out at the absolute last nanosecond, thankfully. Icarus gets frustrated. He goes to grab a chair from outside the ring as the ref still tries to recover. Goes to hit Gargano with the chair. Instead, he eats a big super kick. Gargano grabs the chair. He's reluctant to use it as first because he said he wasn't going to cheat, but the fans were like, it's okay, use the chair. So he whacked the shit out of Icarus with the chair, hit Icarus in the back of the head with a super kick, got the pin. 1, 2, 3. Johnny Wrestling wins in his final appearance at Smash Wrestling to wonderful fanfare. And to close the show, pretty much all the fans gathered at ringside chanted Johnny Wrestling, or thank you, Johnny. It was great. It was a great way to end the show, and it was a great match between, nothing, not putting anything, away from Icarus. He put on a great match with Johnny, and that's where the show ends, except there was Smash Wrestling also uploaded to their YouTube channel a very, very emotional kind of thank you speech, basically, to all the fans for Johnny Gargano. I recommend you check it out on their YouTube channel, Smash Wrestling. It's easy to find. And yeah, that was Smash vs. Chikara. Really good show. I greatly enjoyed it. If you want to check it out, I recommend you do. It's on Smash's On-Demand channel. The URL is ondemand.smash-wrestling.com. It is $7.49 a month for a subscription, but they do have a 2-week free trial, and I recommend it. I got into Smash because of the Rosemary Alley feud, and what I found was some great wrestling outside of that amazing feud, and I definitely recommend Smash. Hell, I'd recommend it for the Rosemary Alley feud alone, because that's just how I am. But yeah, that's about all I have for this inaugural episode of the Extra Bagel, or whatever we're going to end up calling this. Like I said at the beginning, leave a comment if you have a good idea for what to name this. I'm all ears, or all eyes in this case, since I'll be reading your suggestions. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like, leave some feedback if you'd like to see more of this. I do plan on watching other indie promotions, so I can talk about those as well on this. I might even move TNA here if this is a thing that you guys want to continue seeing, since I'm currently the only member of the Bagel Club that participates in this podcast that actively watches TNA, so we could do that. But, and yeah, if you happen to watch these shows or were there, tell me how you felt about it. How about Emerge 17 or Chikara versus Smash? Tell me how you felt. And as always here, I am Crazzy Ryno of the Bagel Club. On behalf of the rest of the Bagel Club, thank you for watching, and subscribe to the Bagel Club channel for more content. And with that, I'm out of here. I'll see you soon.